Oh my God, you're scaring the shit out of me. So today we're going to do the Monopoly tour around London, and I'd love for you to join me. So we all know and love the game Monopoly, and we remember places like Mayfair, Pall Mall, Whitechapel Road, and perhaps jail. Maggie you were just visiting, maybe you weren't. But originally the game Monopoly was invented by an American called Lizzie Magic or Maggie. We'll check that one. And it was invented in 1906 and it was called the Landlord's Game. And then I believe in Australia the most popular version was originally the UK version, which had us having family fights and board slaps, throwing pieces in the air because Mayfair was quite cheap. And if we could only afford to buy Mayfair for the Monopoly price these days, it would be perfect. So come and join us. We're going to start with Old Kent Road and we're going to go through every single colour on the board, and we'll probably just visit jail. I don't think I want to stay in jail tonight anyway. See you there. First location today is Old Kent Road. This is the Brown location, Brown Town. So this is the only location that is south of the River Thames, and it is the postcode SE1, SE14, and a house around here now would sell for £815,000. That is $1 billion in Australian dollars. As you can see here by my bumpy bus ride, we're heading over the bridge to escape this area, even though it's expensive. The next location is Whitechapel Road. This is also a brown labelled Monopoly location. Whitechapel Road is the postcode E1, and a house around here would probably fetch £600,000. But this is also Jack the Ripper area, so yeah, watch out everyone. They still haven't caught him. The next location is the King's Cross Station, our first railway station, known as King's Cross St Pancras, which I used to call St Pancras when I was a kid. This is in the area Northwest 1. It has principal services such as Glasgow Central, Edinburgh, Waverley, Sunderland, Newcastle, York and Leeds, and you can also jump on the Eurostar and head to Paris. So here we are at Euston Road, which is our first light blue location, Northwest 1, NW1. I'm not sure how they say it. But anyway, nothing much on offer here except for a lot of traffic, and it was getting rather dark. And this is actually part of the London Inner Ring Road, as you can tell. I think this was 9:30 at night and it's still very busy. So heading into the swanky areas, Pall Mall or Pall Mall is named after an Italian word palamaglio, which basically is a ball game. It's a bit similar to croquet, but this area is quite expensive, SW1, and fetching prices between £1.5 million. It is very luxurious. Our next pink location is Whitehall, and you can see Big Ben in the background there. It is really busy to a lot of bus traffic, but it is also in SW1. Downing Street leads off the southwest end of Whitehall, and approximately 1.4 to 1.5 million pounds for a site here. I don't know where we're getting this from. The next pink location is Northumberland Avenue, and this is also in SW1, the opulent areas. As you can see, a lot of the buildings are similar with the plane trees. The street is about 0.2 miles long and part of the A400, a local road connecting Westminster to Camden Town. Again, the sites here fetch around £1.4 million, so you might want to put a hotel on it.
Next up is Marylebone Station, built in 1899. It is also part of NW1 in the city of Westminster, and it is home to the National Railway line as well as an underground station on the Bakerloo line. If we were playing Monopoly today, this would fetch $1.1 million on the board. Not cheap. Our first orange location is Bow Street, located in WC2. If you were playing Monopoly today, your site would cost £1.2 million. Bow Street is right in the heart of Theatreland, but has a history with a lot of police stations and magistrates court. Head to the police museum, mind the rubbish, and go and explore some of the beautiful architecture of the buildings around. Confusion reigns supreme at our next street, which is Marlborough Street. Apparently this location in SW3 is not the correct location, but it still says Marlborough Street, so we'll take that. This is probably one of the expensive orange locations, fetching £2.5 million if you were to have this site on the Monopoly board today. This was actually misnamed on the board. It was actually Marlborough Street's Magistrates Court, which is in W1, which is obviously not this location, but hey, look at this place, it's fancy. There is no mistaking that this is the correct Vine Street in W1, our next orange location on the board. It is the smallest street on the Monopoly board, which is only about 20 metres and used to be home to one of the busiest police stations in London. It is now surrounded by small restaurants and little shops, which is just beautiful, and it was nice to get out of the heat and sit in the shade and grab an ice cream just off of Regent Street, which runs parallel to Vine. Our first red location is up next, which is the Strand, also known as Strand. It is home to some of the most beautiful architecture of London, and you can call Australia home because Australia House is also located on the Strand. It gets very busy with traffic and also pedestrians, but is well worth a walk to have a look at some of this gorgeous architecture. It is located in WC2, and it also was home to some of the most prolific authors such as Virginia Woolf, Charles Dickens and Ralph Waldo Emerson. So grab your thinking caps and write a story while you're walking down the Strand, or grab a coffee. Not far from the Strand is the next red spot, Trafalgar Square, which is quite famous, but unfortunately on the day that I visited, it was getting ready for a beach party when there is no beach. But anyway, if you're wanting to meet your friends here or have a political protest, this is the perfect location. Notably, there are the two lions, there are lots of monuments, and also the National Gallery to take a look at. Just remember, if you need to use the bathroom, you're going to have to pay to do a pee. Our next adventure finds us in the yellow area, which is Leicester Square, a highly pedestrianised and very touristy area which has a lot of the little tourist shops plus a lot of the major chains. It also has a small park where you can visit bronze statues such as Harry Potter, very popular with the people but also with the pigeons, so mind the poo-poo. Not far from Leicester Square is our next stop, which is Coventry Street, a very small street in W1 in the city of Westminster. This is also considered Theatreland as well. It is basically very similar to Leicester Square with a lot of tourist shops and restaurants and your chains. It can also get very busy, and just mind the traffic because you don't want to get hit by a bus. Our next yellow location is Piccadilly. This street has stood the test of time, considered one of the oldest streets in London dating back to medieval times. It is starting to border on the edge of Mayfair and is quite ritzy with some beautiful architecture as well. This generally on a Monopoly board would reach around about £2 million if you had this site in the current day. Also in W1. Next up is my favourite street in London, which is Regent Street. This is home to some of the most beautiful architecture as well as some of those exclusive designer stores. It is in W1, the city of Westminster. It is also a major shopping precinct, but it is also a major bus thoroughfare, so watch your step when you're crossing that road. As we move around the board, we're not going too far. We're still in W1 and we're in the green location of Oxford Street, another very busy shopping precinct which has some of the major retail chains such as my favourite, Nike Town, and as well as one of the most popular tube stations, which is Oxford Circus. This is also extremely busy with tourists, so it's always nice to get in early so you can have a bit of a walk around. Get there late and you're not going to be able to go anywhere. Our next location is the last green spot, which is called Bond Street in W1. Unfortunately, there isn't actually a Bond Street in W1. It is New Bond Street, which we are filming now. And to tell you the truth, there's nothing really exciting about this area. We have our last station on the board, which is Liverpool Street Station, the 6th busiest station in all of Britain, and is home to an underground and a tube station. It was built in the 1870s and it is also in EC2, which is in the City of London. Unfortunately, Liverpool Station has had a pretty bad rap over the years because it was involved in air raids and also terrorist attacks. But on a good note, it has been used in many films and books and has even had a poem written about it. It is extremely busy with approximately 66 million people going through the turnstiles, serviced by the Central, Circle, Hammersmith and City and Metropolitan lines. We now come to the most exclusive part of the Monopoly board, which is the dark blue section, and first up is Park Lane. This is a very beautiful area of London, although very expensive and very congested. It is in W1, the city of Westminster as well, and it is home to the Marble Arch. The arch can be found in the parklands that surround this very busy road, so trying to get across is a bit of an issue. But good luck if you do, and good luck if you try to catch a bus here. That was a bit of a feat as well. Last but definitely not least is everyone's favourite and most expensive location on the Monopoly board, Mayfair. This is located in the city of Westminster. It is actually not a street, but a suburb or a full location within London. It is home to some of the most exclusive hotels and some of the most exclusive retail locations. It is also home to some of the richest people in London. If we were to have a site on the Monopoly board currently, it would fetch £3.1 million. It is home to the Ritz. It is home to Hyde Park. It is also home to a lot of cranes right now, and some of the areas looked a little bit shabby. But anyway, it is beautiful, and it is our last location on the Monopoly board.
So thanks for joining us on our tour of Monopoly board today. I hope you had a great time following all the locations with us. So don't forget to grab your Oyster card while you're in London, top it up with some pounds, and you just touch on in tube stations and on buses, and you can explore this great city. I'll see you in Wonderland again soon. Is a squirrel back?
No, I don't know.